Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy Honcho J23, and you are now tuned in to the latest How to Show on Instagram Live. That is the Independent Scene, episode 130. I want to take this opportunity right now to thank each and every single one of you for joining me every single week throughout this process. It truly means a lot to me. It's truly amazing. I'm truly glad to be the host of this dynamic show, this episodic show. I hope you guys are being in tuned every single week. I hope you guys are learning every single week. And I definitely love to bring you guys more and more content as it becomes available. I want to first and foremost thank our guest for today. She goes by Maestra. You know what I'm saying? She's a dope female artist, lyricist out here in the game doing her thing. And I definitely hope you guys are inspired today. I hope you guys learn a lot today. And just really, have a good time. We're gonna get into a lot. We're gonna talk about a lot. Like I said, feel free to ask me questions. Feel free to ask her questions. And we just gonna, we're gonna do the damn thing. So, like I said, with that being said, let me find her. And then we're gonna jump right into this interview, guys. So, like I said, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me and tapping in with me. And like I said, we're gonna bring her on in. And we're gonna do what we do best. And we're gonna do some independent scene shit, you know what I mean? So let me type this pen in. Alright, so the pen is set and she's already in building. So ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time, she goes by Maestra. Let's talk to her. Oh, man.
Okay, what's going on?
What's up?
This is my first time doing this, so that's cool. Okay. Well, at least on Insta, it would be my first time. How you doing, though, Huncho?
Hold on 1 second. This bitch just got one more fucking time to come out to be out this bitch shooting. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this shit now. Give me 1 second. This shit is ridiculous. Anyway, I'm sorry. I had to talk to my friends real quick. Motherfuckers out here out here in the neighborhood shooting and shit. Nah, I don't do that. But anyway, like I said, welcome to the show. You know what I'm saying? I definitely am.
All right, now if you need to do the show from a lower altitude,
Right.
That makes sense. So
Right.
Hey, look, I couldn't even be mad at you.
But anyway, like I said, welcome to the show. It's such an honor to have you on the show. Like I said, I definitely, been waiting on this moment, so it's gonna be great. So real quick, introduce yourself to the people, let the people know who you are, where you calling from, all the good stuff, and then we're gonna jump right into it.
Okay, so I'm Maestra from Durham, North Carolina. Yeah, you already know Bull City. I'm artist out here doing soul, hip hop. Very versatile though. Like I can't really just name one genre that I cover,
Okay.
but I'm out here loving music. Maestra means teacher, so I have a background in education, etc.
That's what's up. What's up. Well, I appreciate that little background history. Shout out to the Bull City. That's where I'm from originally. So shout out to my home state. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
All right. So real quick, you know what I'm saying? Let us know tell us a little bit about how your name Maestra, came into play, how you, came up with it, and how you just, decided to run with it.
Okay, so as far as Maestra is concerned, so when I first started doing like really being serious about the music scene, I didn't want to just go by my first name, which is Kayla. I mean, I could have, but I wanted, something a little bit different. So I was actually on the phone with like one of my best friends ever. And I was just like, yo, help me come up with a name. Like, and he was like, it is kind of crazy. Like you a whole teacher out here and you rapping. Right. So how about it has something to do with being a teacher. So I'm also, pretty good at Spanish. So I was like, oh shoot. Well, in Spanish, teacher is maestra. So, and it kind of sounded like maestro a little bit. So I was like, okay, maestra is actually pretty unique. Okay. So I can do something with that. So that's how I pretty much came up with it. A lot of people, they call me Maestra MCs, but like the whole thing is like the only reason why I put MCs on Facebook is just because I
Right.
need a last name for it to be legit.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that. Okay, okay. Well, I definitely, once again, I definitely appreciate that little insight. You know what I'm saying? Because I and many others that probably have, we have those moments where we do. We have so many different people that come up with that are so unique, so different, so talented in all different areas. And when you have a name such as your name, it's like, oh wow, like I would have never thought of that. So to, hit a little insight behind it, that's dope. That's really really dope. I like that. Most definitely. All right,
Appreciate it.
so talk to us a
Appreciate it.
little bit about this music, because I'm sure you've been doing music for a long time. And so, what I want to know mainly from you is, what's it like, creating this music and really, creating that energy and that space for people to go and really listen to you and really rock out to you.
Well, you know what? I mean, if you want to say it's been a long time, now being out here on the music scene, I started really getting out here on the music scene in around
Okay.
2016. So if you want to say 4 years is a long
Okay.
time, okay, cool. Um, Now I have been into music for a long time. Like I grew up, my grandfather, he's a reverend. So in
Right.
church, you know how it is. Like especially when you sing, a lot of times you start out singing in the choir. So, I started out doing music with my grandfather, and, I was always in the
Mhm.
school choirs and chorus, etc. So just as a little more background, I went off to college in Indiana. I went to Purdue University, and when I graduated, I came
Okay.
back here to Durham. So, a few years later, somebody who was in my life in the past, we just decided that we were going to start doing music. We both realized that we rapped. I never really took
Right.
rapping seriously whatsoever. Like if you had told me back in like 2012 that I was gonna be a
Right.
MC, I'd have been like, yeah, you're
Right.
funny. but but yeah, so I mean, it just became, something that I did. But as far as music and disseminating it and spreading it, the main thing that I focus on is how can I write music that conveys what my life and what my spirituality is like, the things that go on in my mind. How can I convey that to other people to where it's just like, okay, I might not have gone through that, but I can really relate to that.
Mhm.
Like that's real. I always want my music to touch people. My lyrics are a certain type of way to where I can say some real stuff without having to, go completely overboard. I try my best, to have clean music for the most part. So, and that specifically, not only because I was teaching, but, well, yeah, because I was teaching high school students, so they'll pick up on stuff really quickly and they'll find it, and everybody will know about it before before you even
Exactly.
realized it. So I want to make stuff, for not just our age of people. I want to make things that, even children can listen to, because that's always been my passion is, helping out people who are in their youth, because a lot of times we don't
Mhm.
want to listen to them, and we say, oh, you don't know anything. You haven't even experienced anything. And the truth of the matter is we all experienced stuff when we were children as well. And for them to be able to say, oh, somebody can relate to, you know, my life. I've had students that would tell me, whenever they did get wind of my music, they'd be like, yo, Miss H, like you really was spitting some
Yeah.
facts. Like, so that's what I like. And I like for people to be able to listen to something that I wrote and be able to say, wow, like I feel
Mhm.
like I'm not alone. Or they'll learn a lesson that I had to learn the hard way, and they can go ahead and listen to it and kind of have a
Okay.
cheat code.
Okay.
So
Now let me ask
yeah.
you this: do you feel like, with your music being the way it is, do you feel like it's controversial? Because of course you got the people that's using profanity, things of that nature. Do you find it hard being the teacher that you are, knowing that you got students that probably listen to cussing songs all day long with profanity in it? I mean, how does that work for you, knowing that you put out clean music?
Um, I have had no issue with that. Now I'm not saying all of my music is clean, because you'll probably be able to dig and find some
A little
stuff.
bit.
You'll be like, my said that?
Right.
What? But but yeah, I won't say it's too controversial. It works out in my favor in instances where I can perform in front of any audience if I want to, because I've been able to perform places where we're supposed to be uplifting the youth. I've performed for different community events. I've even performed in front of like
Wow.
elderly people, and not realizing what kind of crowd I was gonna have. I'm just like, oh shoot, this is rap. But you know, I kind of mixed it with my acoustics, my soul, and I was singing, and then I started, you know, inching that rapping into that, and they were just like, okay, so you young and you talking about something, okay? So it works out in that good. Now there are some times where maybe I'll be at an event and all the other rappers are talking about this, that, and the third. So, you know, I might hesitate a little and I'll be a little nervous and I'll be like, oh man, like all these other people is like really spitting like some trap music right now. So I'm wondering how the audience is going to receive it. And a lot of times it really works out because people, either way you put it, whatever you say and however it comes to you to deliver your message, hey, look, if you dropping a few bombs in there, it's whatever. It's like you saying what's on your mind and you never know who relates to it. So I don't really knock it. This is just my lane.
I totally agree. And you definitely want to be one, you know, you're definitely, you know, it's hard to, when you come across people that, that, like you said, that stay in their lane and, and don't use, profanity and things like that. But, being in this industry and and being around rappers and singers, like you said, that's the typical thing. You got rappers and singers that really do use those types of words. So, so it's like, how does that affect you? So, I definitely like that insight, so you can kind of be a little bit, versatile with it. So I can relate to that. Okay. All right. So my next thing I want to get to, being a black woman, being an African American woman in this industry, being in this music scene, what is that like for you seeing other women, besides yourself, really, putting on for their city, putting on for their culture, and really, showing, the world that, we're out here too. Like, how does that make you feel being in that popular, or not even so popular, but in that category of great women who are really put out some really dope, entertaining music?
Well, I will start with the word femc. I have never addressed myself as a femc whatsoever. People have called me that, and I'll look at them sideways like, okay. And the reason why I say that, I don't really take offense to it. It's just I don't use it because I am an MC. I love hip hop music, and that's just what I do. And I was able to more understand it when somebody was just like, well, honestly, there's just not a whole lot of females out here doing this. And I'm just like, you know what? Honestly, there are a lot of females out here doing it, but the representation of them, that's what's questionable, because I've seen some shows, and not to knock these shows, because the artists are absolutely fantastic, male or female, but I've seen a lot of shows where I couldn't find out one female on the bill, and I'm just sitting here like, all these female artists, especially in North Carolina, that's like tearing these stages up. Like, regardless of if they're making music like me or what, I'm always supporting, the other, especially black female artists, because a lot of times they are looked over. One thing that comes to mind when I think of it is, a lot of people only want to book the black female artists that, make a certain type of hip hop music. And it brings me back to that Biggie movie where he was telling Lil' Kim, don't nobody want to hear you sound, like a thug, want to hear you sound sexy. So, and that's not to knock them, because, that's their lane. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do too. And I'm very supportive of them. As soon as I see any female on the bill, I'm like, okay, all right, go ahead, queen, do your thing. But I feel like a lot of us do get overlooked in that regard. Not always, but unless somebody has like a real appreciation for real hip hop music. A lot of times we will get looked over, and not even just that, even when it comes to our business relationships with other hip hop artists, a lot of times I had to grow to realize that it sounds bad, but I would like to have like a male be able to be there with me sometimes, depending on who it is. A lot of artists, you know, they do really well, and they're like, I'm not trying to play you because you're a female, and I appreciate it. But you do have, you know, people out here that they'll say they're trying to do business with you, but because you're a female, they either come at you sideways, or they'll have their ulterior motives, or, you know, they'll just try to play you because they feel like, you know, you're weaker. And it's like, oh, you thought.
Right, you thought. Right. You gotta,
Yeah.
prepare to be like, wait, hold up now, wait a minute. Like, you know, I may be a female, but hey, I can do just as much as you can do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay, I definitely feel that. All right, so let me ask you this. So, you know, and when I say this, we've had so many different genres of music, you know, from all over the world, from all different artists, from all different, you know, backgrounds of life and history, things of that nature. But when it comes to cities, you know, you got cities like New York, you know, you got Atlanta, you got California, you got Miami, you know, you got all these major big cities, you know, Houston, you know, places like that. But I want to know from you, who do you feel right now, city-wise, has really been making the most noise in the music realm?
So are you asking me what cities do I think have been really doing their thing in North
It could be
Carolina, you
either in
mean?
North Carolina or out of North Carolina, however you decide to want to, you know, answer that.
Okay. First, I do want to say there's a difference between the ones that are making noise as far as being a performer on stage versus, you know, who are really putting out their tracks like that. So they're known basically based off of what they're recording. And just from North Carolina's perspective, the main ones that come to mind to me, you know, I could be biased, but of course, Bull City, like when it comes to performing on stage, there is so much doggone talent here in Durham. It's
Oh,
crazy. It's
yeah, I know.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
It's
a lot of
absolutely
people
crazy.
sleep on Durham, but I be telling people like, yo, listen, like that's my home state, so I know music because like I said, I grew up in music. I grew up around music, so I know,
Mhm.
you know, my ear, as they say, my ear is musically trained to know good music when I hear it. You know what I mean? So definitely shouts out to
Right.
Bull City, Durham, North Carolina, my home state. What's good, everybody? Most definitely.
But yeah, so you know, of course, you got Durham with, you know, some really big names as far as talent is concerned. Raleigh is definitely putting on with, especially, I was just talking to another brother yesterday about how I'm hoping that these venues that aren't really making it due to the pandemic, I hope they're able to open back up. Hopefully, prayerfully so. But they have wonderful venues there in Raleigh as well. I performed in Raleigh countless times. So yeah, also Fayetteville, you got people in Fayetteville showing out. You know what? Charlotte, I'm hearing some good things about Charlotte. I
Yeah.
really am. Shoot, even we got some people out Greensboro, Burlington, High Point doing some amazing things as far as the music industry. Now, but back to the more general and broad perspective of things. So I noticed that you mentioned, you know, how New York and Atlanta are, and especially even on the West Coast, like music is really popping. The things that cross my mind when it comes to that, though, which is why sometimes it's a really
Mm-hmm.
hard question, is you're always going to be appreciated outside of where you are or
Mm-hmm.
where you are from, because that is a new sound for people and it's a new face. It's like when you switch schools, like when people are like, oh, that's the new kid, so automatically people are going to start
Right.
wondering what you're about, regardless if you one of the cool kids or whatever. You know, you're going to stand out more once you are, you know, out and abroad. So there are a lot of people that aren't from Atlanta, but they rep Atlanta because that's where they found their
Most
biggest
definitely.
come up,
Most,
you know. So you got those points there. But I'm thinking that really we're at a point now. It used to be about, you know, what state or what city you were from, but we're at a point where if you make it but so big, it's gonna be like you're representing that whole
I
region,
agree.
period.
I agree.
Oh
Okay, most
yeah.
definitely. Real quick, let me give a shout out real quick to one of my viewers that just found the building, Officer Udi, I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not saying it right, let me know. But what's good to you, brother? You know what I'm saying? We definitely go finish chopping the back up because I still ain't forgot. All right, but yeah, so that's definitely what it is, and so it's good when you. That's why I say it's good when you have different genres of music that come out of everywhere that you can really get a vibe from. Okay, I feel that. All right, so let me ask you this. So when it comes to this, this pandemic, a lot of artists, we all, that work in this industry have been feeling some type of way towards the pandemic, because we've been having to sit down and, really, prevent on our craft. But how have you been managing, dealing with the pandemic and being, at that standstill?
Okay, depending on who you are, my response to that might be like, okay. So rest in peace to anybody who did not make it this year. Especially those due to the pandemic and those due to police brutality and any other reason why people didn't make it this year. I do have to say, in regards to the whole 2020, I don't even want to just make that question about the pandemic. At the beginning of this year, I did a whole lot of praying that, I would have a transition in life, and I wanted to be on a better foot than I had been in the past. And not saying that I wanted COVID to happen and all this other stuff, but I think now I've been given more of an opportunity. One, I'm a new first time mom. My daughter, she just turned 2 a couple of weeks ago. Thank you so much. She just turned 2 a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things that I prayed for was that I would be able to spend more time with her and watch her develop. And also, I had gone through this streak of like not writing any doggone music. Like, I'm sorry, parent night stuff.
Oh, good.
Sorry. But yeah, so I hadn't written music in a long time, or if I did write something, it was to help. It was to feature on somebody else's track. But I hadn't been really writing my own songs in a while, so it's given me some time to actually put that creativity back to where it was supposed to be. So I'm definitely thankful for that. I've been able to spend more time with my daughter, and also I've been able to regroup. I was working with in the public school system for actually over 5 years at this point. For over 5 years, I've been working in the school system, and I love students and I love what I was doing, but I still needed a change. And I've actually had a shift in that regard as well. And this has definitely been a time where us as people of color, we have been able to regroup, now sit down and sit still and be like, okay, look, all this time I've been working for other people. Now I need to be working for myself. Since this year, I have started back painting, selling artwork. I have started back, writing more music. That's a whole nother thing. I have been able to, I just started doing t-shirts, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been able to get into my whole mode of using my actual skills and talents to, take care of myself and support myself financially. And I think that this was a good time for us to not sit and feel sorry for ourselves. Now, I understand I went through some things. A lot of people went through things this year, but some of us have had that inkling that, okay, we got to snap out of it quickly and get on top of the game, because obviously we can't depend on this system of ours. Because if we could have, 2020 wouldn't have been looking like this. And I think we was depending on it a little bit too much. So now it's just like, okay, they don't know what they're doing, which is one of the reasons why I'm like, everybody is so focused on this presidential part of the election, and how many different names can you think of on a local level that you need to be worrying about when it comes to voting?
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like people really just need to take all of this that's going on as a wake-up call, and they need to shift their whole wake-up thinking, because they thinking about the top part, that one top part of the ballot, and that's not even the majority of what's going on. So yeah, I've definitely taken it as I don't want to say a gift and a curse, because I won't claim a curse. I won't claim that, but I'm definitely taking this year as a year to shift, and a year to definitely not just love each other, because, you know, we missing that social part for the most part. So not just love, but work on how you love your own self, and, you know, go about living your own right with your own righteous intent. You know, that's where I am as far as the pandemic and everything that's going on.
Yeah, all right. So that's what it is. All right. So now, real quick, I want to sidebar for a second, because now I gotta ask you real quick. You know, of course, about this whole Black Lives Matter movement. Once again, you know, being a black woman, African American woman, you know, and seeing what's taking place, seeing what's going on with us. You know, real quickly, if you could sum it up real quickly, you know, what's been your take on, you know, what's been going on, and do you see any change happening, you know, coming from this at all?
Yes and no. I'm not a type of person where you can pay me off in any way, shape, or form, because there's intent behind. If somebody's throwing money at you, there's intent behind it, other than what they're saying. So
we want to be.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, should I let you get bit? Because I gotta finish this thing, because my cord is too short for me to plug it up. Unless you want me to go. All right, I'm back. I had to talk to my friend because my friend about to go drop somebody off that we know. So, but you were saying,
okay. So yeah, I feel like I say no, because a lot of people are thinking that this is a situation where we just asking for money and some handouts. We don't care. Those who really care about Black lives, that are Black, we ain't thinking about that part. That's not at all what we're saying. But yes, in regards to those of us who understand that this is so much more than handing us some money. First of all, the American dollar doesn't have that much value in the first place. So, but those of us who really understand what's going on, I think we are finally coming to realize that we need to organize to the point where we are able to financially, emotionally, spiritually take care of ourselves. We've tried this whole, you know, integrating thing, and I'm not saying that I don't want to work with other people of different nationalities, different races, whatever. But it's not so much about that. It's, I'm no good to anybody else, or I'm no value to anybody else unless I am good for myself or good to myself. So I do like this enlightenment in a lot of Black people, to where they're like, you know what? Forget this. I'm about to go ahead, and I ain't seen so much sea moss in all my life. Sea moss ain't a new thing, but I ain't seen so much sea moss in all my life. I haven't seen so much doggone African jury, or, you know, all of this stuff that's like really coming out. The enlightenment, that's what's changing. And I do like, in addition to that people outside of the Black race are really due to the fact that we were quarantining for a long time. People have actually had to sit their butts down and pay attention to what's going on. And it's just like, oh, so they weren't overreacting. Because I've seen some people that I went to a PWI. Some people I went to school with that, you know, I would bring up things like, you know, how we were treated as the minority on campus all the time. And it was like, oh, you're just overreacting. No, we just have never seen Black people before. We don't know. And we're not trying to be offensive and all this other stuff. And now they're turning around like, oh, that's not right. Because they were actually off the clock and sitting in front of their screen and actually watching what's going on. So in that regard, I feel like we do have more support, and intentional support, like some genuine stuff going on. So in that regard, I like the enlightenment part. There's still a ways to go. And one of the things, actually, there's two things that I'll say are very important. I hope I remember both of them. But one is Black man, Black woman. All right, I get it. We ain't gonna never agree on whose fault whatever was. As a matter of fact, once we stop playing the blame game on each other and, oh, it's the Black woman's fault, it's the Black man's fault, until we stop doing that.
I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
You better hope I don't forget.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Hey, Ben. your neighbor talking. Want to know if your mama here. She want to get some. Give me 1 second. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. We got neighbors in it, right? I'm at my friend's house. So, all right, but go ahead. And
Go ahead.
go ahead. Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready? Okay, go. Okay. But yeah, until we stop playing that whole blame game, you know, we are not going to learn to be able to work together to invest in our future. And what I mean by that is these kids are watching us and they're listening to every single thing that we talk about. So when I don't care how you are, how much upset you are at a black man, black woman, like your children are listening to you and the things that you're instilling in them, they're going to think that about who they grow up to admire and talk to. And they're going to say, oh, my mom kept saying black men ain't worth this, that, and the third, because they think this way. Black man, same thing. Your sons are listening to you. So when they grow up, regardless of if anybody has broken their heart or not, well, my dad was saying that black women ain't worth this and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So one, we got to get these relationships together. We got to get on top of that. And also, outside of the man versus woman, black man versus black woman thing, also we do need to, this is going to sound horrible. I'm going to say it anyway because that's what I said. That's how I feel. We got to stop just putting people in office because they black, because some of these black folk that's in office right now, man, they just a face. And when I say they timing like crazy, man, if you really, first of all of us need to start really being involved on a community level. And I mean, really understand and listen to what's going on in these city council meetings. Because if you sit down in these meetings, you'll understand, oh, a lot of this stuff has been going on for a long time because people are playing us from the inside because they know we're not going to show up to these meetings. So get more involved in that way. School board meetings. I don't care if you have a child or not. Tune in so you'll understand what's really going on. Because a lot of us are just talking out the side of our necks. We have no idea what we're talking about. Really we need to start tuning in that regard. We've really been slipping and lazy about it, because if we can go to the bar and we can drink and we can smoke, we can do whatever we want to, we can go to a lot of these meetings. So we can really put our foot down and realize who's being put in place that's really playing us and like, oh, vote for me. I'm black. I know what it's like to be black. Yeah, I understand your struggle, girl. I got you. But no, playing. Playing hard.
Look, as they say in game term, they false claiming.
And I do wish more of us either had the time and resources or just had the heart and strength to step up and try to get into, you know, some of these places of position, because some of us really belong there and just saying, because we ain't doing what we're supposed to do. So as black people, we need to get on it and do what we're supposed to do and get in place. Catch these alley-oops while we got them.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Well, I definitely appreciate that insight. That was really some very powerful insight. I hope you guys that are watching, I hope you guys are taking notes, because as I tell y'all, every single episode, these gems and these tips are not free. So make sure you are writing this shit down. Excuse my French, but this is top notch shit. You know what I mean? So make sure y'all write it down. So real quick, what advice do you have for our young black kings and young black queens that's coming up in this music game, that's trying to, you know, chase the dream and pursue their career? What advice do you have for them to keep them motivated, to keep them going?
Don't waste your money on things that you don't really need. For real, put your money aside, and because once you realize that a lot of this stuff, y'all, is easier than what you would think. And I'm talking about on the back end, as far as like creating your brand. If you don't do your own digital work and do your own fine art work to where you can create your own stuff, link up, make good connections with people who are business minded, because it is so easy to get distribution. I'm using TuneCore right now, and it's so simple. If I had known that when I was in college and I was just playing around with, or high school even, playing around with music, I could just easily get a distributor so my stuff could be heard on Spotify. Because for one, I was teaching a class and I found out some of my students were for real rapping. Like they got a hookup to where they recorded the video and everything. It wasn't necessarily my style because they was talking about some stuff that I should have got them for. But it was the fact that they love music and they want to do it. I was like, so you got this music video out and it's mixed, your song is mixed and mastered. So how about y'all get it distributed so it can be on Spotify? Told them how to do that simply. I was like, if you don't want to use TuneCore, you can use this, or, you know, whatever. Showed them how to do it. They had their first song up on Spotify. If you had seen the light in their eyes, and I ain't say no names for a reason. Usually they probably would have spent that bread on some, you know what I'm saying, something to smoke. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like just keeping it real, like they would have spent it on something crazy. So, you know, put your money to use. Don't, you know, spend your money carelessly. If you really care about this music thing, the money that you would have set aside, you know, work on things like that, even getting your own t-shirts done. You wouldn't believe how many people started spelling my name right just based off of one t-shirt that I wore, that I got made. So not just that, one of the biggest things to save yourself some mental headache and high blood pressure. Everybody else is going to want to tell you how you're supposed to go about this music thing. But first off, I mean, they can't tell you how to write your lyrics. They can't tell you how to be an artist. There's not even really a finite definition of artistry. We have a certain talent that we have, or a certain skill, and we put that to work. There are going to be some people that say, oh, you're not serious about music because you're not paying to perform. What? I don't pay to perform no more. I used to when I first started out because I didn't know any better, but you know, and I'm not saying all opportunities you should not pay for to perform. Like, I mean, if for real, you're going to be up there with Drake or Kendrick, for real, and it's not a scam, shoot, okay, all right. You know, but there's some people out here, they're still trying to tell people they need to pay $50, and they also need to have their own following, bring their own people up there. And it's like, well, dang, I could have been outside on the corner with a street sign, with a cardboard box sign, and got exposure and been rapping. Come on. So don't let anybody tell you that you're not an artist or a serious artist because you're not doing what they want you to do. Because a lot of times people are trying to get money off of you and they're trying to play you. So be wary of that. Also stay true to your lane, because there's going to be a lot of people out here that they're not going to accept your music because, you know, that's what you have. But you can't play your fans. You can't sit there and turn your backs on them because, well, you can if you want to, but you're not gonna last. I'm gonna be honest with you, you're not gonna last. But don't turn your back on the people that have supported you from the very beginning, because you're supposed to be teaching them, hey, be yourself, you know, stay true to you. But here you are switching up your music because, you know, you and paying for fans, and now you got to appeal to a completely different audience. Like, you'll be all mixed up in the head. So, you know, just stay true. So yeah, stay true to yourself, stay in your own lane, do your own thing, because we are all going to get this music thing on our own times. You know, don't be jealous of other people because they're getting opportunities and that you're not. Maybe that's just not for you right now. So maybe you just need to be in your own space, do your own thing, and when it's time for you to be, you know, in that position, you'll be there.
Most definitely. All right.
So yeah.
Appreciate the insight. Definitely appreciate the insight, guys. This is good, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I'm conversation. I don't know about y'all. All right, that's what
I know. I get to talking, and yeah, you got to be like, all right now.
Right. You know, I got it's a little side discussions here and there, but like I said, definitely, like I said again, I'm glad I'm able to have this conversation with you because, like I said, I've had so many others that have come through here, such as yourself, and have truly dropped jewels and bombs, as I call it, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's why I tell all my viewers that's viewing, make sure y'all are sharing this, make sure y'all are liking, make sure y'all screen recording and posting, say retag myself and Maestra in it, you know what I'm saying? Because this is definitely some top notch stuff, you know what I mean? All right, so my next thing I want to get into real quick, 5 to 10 years from now, where do you see yourself? Like, have you put into play what you want to do 5 to 10 years from now, or you're still in the planning stages?
I am still in the planning stage, but I love the fact that you asked me that question because a lot of times that was like my journal entry topic to my kids. So I can't be a hypocrite and be like, I can't answer that question. All right. So yes, I am in my planning stage, but on the other hand, in the next, I will say 10 years, in the next 10 years, I want to have definitely done multiple tours because I still have not performed as Maestra outside of
Okay.
the state yet. So I definitely want to have done multiple tours where I've gone to different countries, and my following should be tenfold from now, if not more. You never know; it could like
Mm-hmm.
really skyrocket. I also, in the next 10 years, I want to be solely working for myself at that point. I've had dreams of having a facility where people who are in their youth, so in other words, 18 and under, they're able to, by the way, just kind of a side note, my bachelor's degrees, they're in theater and I got one in psychology. So what I wanted to do was use performing arts as an outlet and a treatment for those who need
Mm-hmm.
treatment. So I plan to be in the stages of developing that. But like I said, the biggest part is I want to be completely working for myself. I want to have my master's by then. And I'm hoping that I can be grooming my daughter at that time because she'll be getting ready to be a teenager. She'll be a preteen in 10
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
10 years. So I hope to be grooming her to where she can look up to me and say, oh, my mom's got a business. So, hopefully she'll be thinking about me passing it down to her
Mm-hmm.
in the future and all of that.
Okay. Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your career has been everything that you've wanted it to be, that you've predestined for yourself to be, or do you feel like you still got more to go?
I still got more to go, but I never thought that I did not think that my life would be at this turn. I never thought that I would be able to not be able to. I didn't think I was going to be known as much as I am
Mm-hmm.
as an artist so far because I didn't even have intentions on being a teacher, to
Mm-hmm.
be honest with
Okay.
you. Like, I didn't know I was going to be a teacher. It just happened. Like, I knew my future would
Right.
entail working with children or people in their youth. I knew that, but I didn't know I was going to be a public school educator when I was. I didn't know, like now I'm not even in public school right now. Well, I am going to be back again soon because I just got another job offer, but yeah, I didn't know I was going to be working for the community. Now I'm getting paid to assist people who are in the community. I had no idea that was going to happen, but most definitely hip hop music and being known for hip hop music, I did not see that coming. I didn't see myself like working on releasing my first album before this year is over. That's going to be coming out. And I know some people watching this would just be like, now we've been asking you for a long time when you were going to release that album, but man, so many people are just like, yo, Maestra, when are you going to? Because I don't even know how many features I've done. And I still got like over 10 features that are going to be coming out with between now and the next year already in the works right now. So everybody's been waiting on me to, release this first project, and it's finally coming, y'all. So I'm excited about that. But I didn't expect any of this. I didn't expect to be on so many different stages in front of so many different people. Like, this whole experience with music has been amazing. It's had ups and downs, of course, but it's mine. It's my experience. And, it honestly saved me because if I wasn't doing this, I probably wouldn't even have the opportunities outside of
Right.
music
I
that I
agree.
have. So, and I'm able to, start consolidating them a whole lot. So I feel good about it. I really do. I did get to a point where I was just like, man, this is just moving too slowly. But that's why I said you can't be trying to keep up with other people and their stuff, because you're losing focus and you could be doing your own thing while you
Right.
think about them.
Right.
So, hey, it's working out
Now,
though.
my
I
other
love it.
question, what is it like when you have the support that you have, when you have people that are able to word for word recite your lyrics, repeat your songs back to you, and in your mind you're saying to yourself like, "Yo, I made this," and people are really paying attention. What does that do to you as an artist, as a female, and on top of that, or let me rephrase that, not people, but as a woman, what does that do to you eternally and mentally, knowing that you have people out here that really genuinely support you and really rock with your music?
Man, God is so good. God is so good to me, because like being on stage somewhere where, because I got, one of my main singles is, it has
Mm-hmm.
my name in it, so I'm spelling my name out, and when I'm like MAE and they like STRA, I'm like, yo, are y'all serious? Like, it's people that I've never met in my whole
Right.
entire life. That is what happened to me before. I was performing at, I think, the social off of Main Street in Durham, right beside Skewers. I was performing there one night, and a guy in the audience, I had never met him a day in my life, was singing my lyrics, and I'm like,
Right.
yo, how? But like, people pull their phones out really quickly when I'm on stage and, I'm rocking out. And a lot of people have actually seen me performing. So to even hear that is a beautiful thing for women. Whenever I do my song Pretty Girl and women come up to me like, girl, like, I really felt that, and that's what I be trying to say, I just could never really put it into words. For black men to come up to me when I do Let's Decompress, when they come up to me and they're just like, yo, I feel appreciated, I feel like I'm doing God's work. It might be hip hop and some people who are orthodox, because anybody tell you I love God, and saying I try my best to live right, but I am
Right.
not
Right.
orthodox. So, but for real, I feel like God is working through me with my talents and all that. And what more could I ask for? What more could I ask for when I have family that understands that, she's an artist, so she's got to be out here, and they're helping me, take care of my child. Or, I got a friend that, helps take care of my child, whenever I'm just out here doing music. That is a beautiful, beautiful feeling, that I can walk in the room and I can feel respected as an artist. Like, I really couldn't ask for much more, which is another reason why I just can't complain. You ask me how I'm doing, I say I won't complain to you. Shoot, I love it. I woke up this morning. I'm doing what I love, and I feel like I'm doing what God asked me to do and put
Most
me here for.
most definitely.
So
Well, I
yeah.
definitely, this insight is so powerful, man. And as I'm sitting here listening to you, I can literally see your humbleness and your genuineness, and it's feeding off of me right now. So forgive me if I'm just like, I'm mesmerized. It's almost like being mesmerized. This information is so good. I
Yeah.
love it. You know what I'm saying? So my last and final question before we wrap it up, because my time is drawing near. But my last thing I must ask you is, we've been having this versus battle going on. I'm pretty sure you've been following, what's produced by the one and only Timberland and Swiss Beats. But I gotta know, what's been your most favorite battle that you've seen that you can recall, and who do you see next stepping into the ring? Or who would you like to see step into the ring next?
Um. Oh, that question right there. Oh yeah, you really threw that one at me, because to choose. Oh man, I don't want to choose.
Hey,
Okay.
so look, I've had so many artists when I ask them that question, they be like, "Oh man," because like they know that's one of those loaded questions where they can say so many, but it's gotta. I know it's had to be one that really really stuck out, because we had so many epic battles out here with this verses. But I gotta know specifically from you, from your era, from your standpoint, from your artistry of music. what battle really stood out to you the most?
Okay. Okay. Um, so I guess the one that was the most relatable to me, it had to be Monica and Brandy, for the simple fact of I remember in my childhood, because I'm not 30 yet. I'll be 30 next year, so I'm a 90s baby. For most of my childhood, that was what I heard growing up, as well as far as hip hop was concerned. So I was able to do my little
Right.
bounce more to them. Yeah, so I guess that one, it did stand out to me. The well thing, now I want to change my mind, because that whole Erica and Jill Scott thing,
Yeah.
the sisterhood there was so beautiful. Jill was just so humble and so beautiful, and Erica, she just
Right.
knows she bad. That girl knows she bad, and I actually do a cover to Erica, so oh man, but that's about as bad as, I'm gonna be stereotypical. That's about as bad as asking me what I want to eat. if I can't decide what I'm about to eat or what I want to eat when somebody else asks me.
Hey, it be like that sometimes. It be like that sometimes. You know what I mean? But I definitely appreciate
Yeah.
your response, and definitely, shouts out to Brandy and Monica. Because that was truly a vibe way back then, and like I said, to see those two tear the house down, those two powerhouses. I mean,
And learning so much about their situation. I didn't know Monica was
right,
that young when she started
right,
out.
right.
What in
I said,
the world?
I was like, yo, that was mind blowing to me. Like I said, you've had, Jill Scott and Erica Badu, two powerhouses. You've had Brandy and Monica, also two powerhouses. Then you had the iconic, the legendary Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight. When
Oh
you
my
talk about
gosh.
super iconic in one room,
I missed most of that, but whatever I did catch,
listen, let me tell you, that, my God.
and hearing them perform it, and hearing them singing, because like a lot of times as young folk, we just like, oh, we're just gonna sit back and let it. Girl, you supposed to be watching my podcast. I'm sorry, somebody beat in on me, but anyway, yeah, just, but when you older, you gonna let
and
loose, and them two
that's
sisters let
exactly
loose, and they still
right.
can
And that's
sing.
exactly what they did. I'm just like, OMG. I don't think there would be, personally, in my opinion, I don't think there will ever be another battle to top Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle, because that right there just basically, to me, shut down the whole in versus battle, period. I mean, there have been a lot of great battles.
Yeah,
Again, Jill Scott, Erica Badu, Brandy and Monica, but that one, Gladys Knight and Patti, that, man, that right there, that right there would be a
set the
battle for the ages. People and everybody had been wondering when is that going to happen, and it finally happened. So I was so blessed to be able to witness some of that and to catch some of that, because again, that take us people that would think, I'm 28 years old. People would say, oh, you don't know music, but trust me, I grew up in this music, so I had
you know what, we grew up in a great, I don't care what nobody say, the 90s and the early 2000s were great time. Hey, Crystal Bay. We grew up in a great time for music. I don't care what anybody say. We had doggone Outkast
right.
killing them.
I point
Okay,
point exactly,
like
exactly.
right. We know what music is, but the thing about it is I can't fault them, because the generation before them said they don't know music and what's this
Right.
hippity hop mess. So I mean
Most
that's
definitely.
perpetual. So I can't really blame them, but absolutely. And they got to remember, our moms was making us clean up on Saturday mornings listening to all of this stuff, so we ain't
Exactly.
miss nothing. We ain't miss nothing. Hey, look, I never met Brownstone a day in my life, but my mom was definitely playing some 5 Miles to
Right.
Empty. You know what I'm saying? So I knew about, Brownstone before what's his name came out with You're Gonna Have to Do More Than Just.
Most
Yeah.
definitely.
Um Yeah, so yeah, we know music. We got mamas.
Definitely do. Well, I listen. I definitely can keep this conversation going, but I definitely appreciate all of your time, all of your insight, your background, your history. I truly appreciate it, and it's truly meant everything to me. And I hope you continue to do what you do best. Continue to apply that pressure. You know, what I'm saying, put the foot on their neck, as some people say, and really just go for what you know. So, real quickly, let the people know where they can follow you at, where they can tap in with you at, real quick.
Oh yeah, so my tag anywhere is at
Keep, keep
MaestraEmcee Maestra MC. Oh, MCs. So put an S at the end of that. So that's Maestra MC. Uh yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, Facebook. My first and last name is Maestra MCs as well. So yeah, you can keep up with all of my music. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music. All of my features are there as well. And again, please be looking out for my project that's coming up before the end of the year, end of 2020. I'm not gonna put a date on that yet, but just keep up
Most
with
def,
me, okay?
most definitely. And one final thing. Is there any other things that we need to be on the lookout for that we need to be watching out for real quick, real quick.
So this is one of the things that I can't really, cause yeah, there are some big things coming, but I can't
Okay.
say nothing yet. I can't say nothing yet because I will get in some trouble. But just matter of fact, keep following me on Instagram again, Maestra MCs. Follow me on Instagram because I've been
Most
sworn to
definitely.
secrecy
We
on a whole lot of stuff. So, but just trust me, 2020 is about to, yeah, it's gonna be really good. The last half of this year, and some things coming in 2021 as well.
most
So
definitely.
just
You
keep up with
guys,
me.
so I hope you have enjoyed episode 130 of the Independent Saying, and you are once again now tuned into the latest hottest show, episodic show on Instagram Live. That is the Independent Saying with yours truly, Hunter J. Much success to you, Maestra, for coming through and playing.
Thank you. You
And
too.
we definitely
Bless you.
appreciate all of what you do. Keep doing what you're doing, my sister. And we definitely look forward to bringing you back later on, somewhere in the future for an encore maybe, and seeing what else is new in your world. You know what I mean? Most
All right, then. Thank you so
love
much. I
you too.
love
Take care of
you.
yourself. All right. All right.
All right, then.
And there you guys have episode 130 of the Independent State with yours truly, Hunter J, and the one and only Maestra. Big shouts out to her. Keep doing what you're doing. I've enjoyed our conversation with you, Maestra. I love you. Keep doing what you do, sister. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been my time. I thank you for watching and thank you for tuning in this afternoon to episode 130 of the Independent Scene. I hope you guys will join me once again tomorrow as I'll be talking with the one and only, my boy, my bro, Shame. Shame Gang is in the building tomorrow with us, y'all. So make sure you guys go and tune in. And make sure you guys join me this Thursday night at Open Mic, Touch the Mic Showcase, which goes down at Arcade of Thrones, 399 Heber Street, that's being co-hosted by Family First Organization. G Hustleware is being hosted by yours truly, Hunter J, being hosted by Mr. Canada Hip Hop, music career by my personal DJ Wade Banner. And we look forward to seeing you, having a good time. All right. So this has been my time. This has been my time, and I love you guys. I support you guys. This has been Hunter J 23, and I'm out. Let's get it.